Attention, international commentary to resume in 5 seconds. And so it all comes down to penalties, just as it did between these two teams 4 years ago in La Plata in Argentina. The captains were all smiles on the toss of the coin to determine which end these penalties will be taken and who goes first. Huge pressure. Argentina booking their place on penalties against Colombia last night, awaiting the winners of this one. Paraguay prevailed 2-0 on penalties 4 years ago. Ilano, Thiago Silva, Andre Santos and Fred all missed for Brazil. Justo Villa in the Paraguayan goal tonight, saved from Thiago Silva. The other three all went wide of his target. And that prey on any Brazilian minds here. They've had a couple of penalty shootouts since. Most recently, a year ago to the day tomorrow, that they beat Chile from the spot at the World Cup. And Jefferson, they do have a goalkeeper though, with a decent pedigree from penalties. He saved a couple for Brazil already. He saved one actually from Lionel Messi last year. Also a penalty save against Mexico 4 years ago. Justo Villa, I think he asked for a more experienced custodian. Couldn't Paraguay. Who've previously contested 5 penalty shootouts in their history. They lost the first 2, both at the Copa America. And they've won 3 on the bounce since then, including 1 at the World Cup against Japan as they reached the quarterfinals for the first time in their history in South Africa in 2010. Villa was involved that night as well. He will face the first one from Fernandinho. He's first up here, the Manchester City man for Brazil. The weight of the nation on his shoulders as he waits for the whistle. Fernandinho scores. Villa got hands to it but couldn't keep it out, beaten by the power. Brazil are up and running. They're already gone one better than they managed 4 years ago. It's been perhaps most people's predicted pick for the first taker. It's a hit and hope really from Fernandinho, but he got enough on it. Villa unfortunate. Given the weight of history as well, that first penalty could prove important. The substitute, Osvaldo Martinez, scored from the spot against Venezuela in the semi-final 4 years ago to face Jefferson. Paraguay's first penalty is emphatically dispatched. Also opts for power and levels it up at 1-1. The keeper again wasn't far away from it, was he? "22 years ago to the day that Brazil lost 6-5 on penalties to Argentina after a 1-1 Copa America draw in Ecuador. It's the first year that penalties were introduced back in 1993. I hope that isn't an omen. Well, Everton Ribeiro was partly brought on to take a penalty. Another of these substitutes here stepping up. And he has missed. Casual and so potentially costly. The first miss in the shootout. And Everton Ribeiro just checks his run. Fooled the goalkeeper, but he's dragged it wide. That's a really bad miss. It remains 1-1. Brazil have blinked first in the shootout. Can Paraguay ramp up the pressure here? Press home their advantage. To Cáceres. Brazilian-based. Scores for Paraguay. They take a step closer to semi-finals. Well, we know from watching last night, just how much can still happen from here. Then he goes straight down the middle. And he plays for Flamengo in Brazil. He's also part of the squad that reached the final 4 years ago. Jefferson had little chance with that one. I sense this has to go in. The skipper stepping up to assume responsibility, and Miranda scores coolly. Keeps them in it. Well, maybe not the most obvious of penalty takers, but he was leading by example. Having been handed the armband, wanted to take the responsibility. Villa got nowhere near this one. 2-2. Paraguay still with the extra kick to come. Of course, he lifted the World Cup after a penalty shootout, and they beat Italy famously in the United States. Nothing Dunga can do here. Raul Bobadilla, top corner. Well, that took some nerve. Paraguay are 3 from 3. That was perfect into the postage stamp. Again, Jefferson guessed the right way. He wasn't getting to that though. Bobadilla edges Paraguay closer. Another of the substitutes stepping off the bench to score from the spot in the shootout. This is Douglas Costa. He's left in tears after an under-20 World Cup penalty shootout. He'll be in tears again as he skies it over the bar. Brazil on the brink. Bad miss. It stays at 3-2 to Paraguay. They only need to score one of 2 possible penalties to come. And they're into the semi-finals again. And Douglas Costa potentially will be in tears again. The last gasp hero against Peru on opening night. This could be their final night in the Copa America. If this goes in, Paraguay progress. Oh, it's missed by Santa Cruz. On we go. Well, he was trying to lead by example as well and clinch it, the captain, and has failed to do so. They will get another go. That wasn't do or die for Paraguay, but it wasn't a good penalty from Roque Santa Cruz. And really, he would have been the one that they would have wanted on the end of that. It stays at 2-3. Successive misses in the shootout. Coutinho has to score to keep Brazil in the competition. Coutinho does score coolly. That wasn't in doubt. It keeps the pressure on. Paraguay have to score their next penalty. They do, they're still through. This quarter-final still at stake with the next kick. Brazil have taken it the distance. Well, previous penalty shootouts they've contested in the nation's history, they've won 8 of them. Well, it's the man who took it to penalties in the first place to try and settle the shootout. Derlis Gonzalez scores for Paraguay, who progress to the semi-finals. It's Paraguay on penalties against Brazil again for the second Copa America quarter-final in succession. The same outcome from 4 years ago in Argentina means it is Paraguay who play Argentina back here in Concepcion on Tuesday. Dunga and Brazil are going home. It is another failure for Brazil in a major competition. The inquest, I think, will already be starting back home, but take nothing away from these Paraguayan celebrations. They can barely believe it. Ramon Diaz will face his countrymen back here in the second semi-final. His first taste of international football will lead him to a major semi-final where Paraguay will face their former coach Gerardo Martino. That is to come. Dunga's sportingly, for his good friend, can still afford a smile. You wonder what the future holds for Dunga from here after this damaging defeat. Paraguay booking their place against Argentina. They've repeated history from 4 years ago. They're through. 1-1 on the night, 4-3 on penalties.